and welcome to Two Tired Teachers and a Dog. And today we're going to talk about camp stove coffee. And if you enjoy the outdoors, but you also like a good cup of joe, then this video is just for you. There are actually 5 different kinds that I can think of, 5 different ways that you can have a good brewed cup of coffee and still enjoy the great outdoors. So the first one is going to be a pour through or pour over. I don't have one of those. That might be a good solution if you have one. It's glass, so you might not want to take it. So let's look at some other options. If having something that's very compact is going to be an issue, then coffee bags. They actually make, these are just like tea bags, but they are coffee, and you do them just like you do tea. I will say it's going to, for me to have a nice good cup of coffee, it's going to take a couple of these to make one. But just heat some water, let these steep like you would tea, and it really makes a pretty decent cup of coffee. Next option might be, these are, I got this, I actually ordered these online, but they are available at Walmart. And all it is a little pouch where you can scoop in your coffee, set this down on top of your mug in hot water. And as it continues to heat, the water will then brew the coffee there in the mug. You can line this with a filter, which makes cleanup a whole lot easier, but it's just, like you can see, just a little mesh pouch that the grounds sit in and the water can circulate around. Makes a good cup of coffee. And I probably wouldn't have bought that had I known that we were going to find, let's see if this is still hot. No, it's cooled off a lot. This is actually a little percolator, and it works extremely well. There's still some coffee in here and it's still pretty warm, but just to show you, it has a little basket and it is still hot. And what I do is I take a, this makes an excellent cup of coffee. I take a coffee filter, I fold it in half, fold it in half, fold it in half again, make a triangle, cut just the very tip of that triangle off, and then I can put the filter inside of that basket. Cleanup is a cinch. That makes an extremely hot cup of coffee. You don't realize how much hotter it is than drip coffee is until you have this. But what happens is that water actually boils and it percolates, and there are little holes in the bottom, and it goes up the stem and it keeps dripping through. So this has really become my favorite. I will tell you, it's going to use a lot more of your propane because you have to have the heat really high to make it percolate, to make that water boil and go up the pipe and fill and keep going through those grounds. But folks, it makes an excellent cup of coffee, and it's really one of my favorites because you do get to savor your coffee. It's nice and hot. And then just for sentimental reasons, I want to also add cowboy coffee. Growing up as kids, our dad, anytime we went camping, this was our coffee pot. And all he would do is he'd put it on the stove, put some water in here, probably about to here, get it good and hot, throw in some grounds, and yes, just throw them in there. And then as they all boiled, etc., at the end you throw in a little cold water, and it's supposed to make those grounds settle. You pour it and then have a chewy cup of coffee. So just throwing that one out there for sentimental reasons. But it is an option, I mean, if you got really desperate. So those are the methods that I have come up with to ensure that I can have a cup of coffee while we're just outside. Now, if you have electric hookups, you can also have your favorite coffee pot along. Thanks for watching Two Tired Teachers.